Too many people jump right into the trucking business when rates are really high and then quickly go out of business when rates drop again because they didn't do enough research and they don't know the trucking business well enough to plan for the future. So today I want to talk about how you can understand the trucking market, avoid those mistakes, and plan for these largely predictable cycles in the industry. Hi, I'm Caroline, and I like to think of myself as your trucking business professor here at the Bobtail Help Desk. My goal is to help your trucking business thrive. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on one of our videos. At Bobtail, we provide a factoring service for truckers with no long-term contracts and no hidden fees. If you want to learn more about that, there's a link in the description. Okay, so understanding the freight market is really important for trucking business owners for many reasons. Being knowledgeable about the trends of the industry can position you to recognize the signs of change to come. While predicting rates and volumes outright is impossible, there are some telltale signs that can inform bigger business decisions. Understanding your position and your customer's position in the marketplace leads to a better understanding of your negotiating power. Negotiating also happens to be another critical skill in trucking. Learning about the cycles of the trucking industry can also give you peace of mind. You'll understand very quickly that neither bad nor good times last forever. Finally, of course, having more knowledge about the industry will help you find better loads and position yourself in areas where you can make more money. All right, we're going to start off with something really simple: the law of supply and demand. Supply and demand is a theory that visualizes the relationship between people who want to sell a resource and those that are willing to buy it. When there are a lot of people that want a thing, high demand, and not enough people to sell that thing, low supply, prices will go up because the seller can afford to turn away someone who isn't willing to pay a premium because they know there's someone right behind them that will. On the other hand, when there's more of that thing and less people that want to buy it, prices will go down because the seller needs to give an extra incentive for people to buy. In the case of the trucking market, the supplier is the trucking company. You're selling space in your trailer for things to be moved. The demand comes from brokers and shippers that need product moved from point A to point B. When there are fewer trucks on the road than loads that need to be shipped, rates go up because shippers have to compete for trucks. This is referred to as a tight market or a carrier's market because carriers in this case have more negotiating power. When there are more trucks on the road than loads available, rates will go down because carriers have to compete for loads. This is typically referred to as a loose market or a shipper's market because brokers and shippers have more negotiating power now. To truly understand the trucking market, though, you need to go a little bit beyond supply and demand to really understand what things influence that supply and demand. Trucking is generally considered to have three main cycles: seasonality, annual procurement, and market capacity. Let's talk about seasonality first. This is the most stable of all of the cycles because it's based on natural and cultural systems that are already in place, basically weather and holidays. January to March is considered low season. This is right after the holidays have ended and not much produce is coming out in the United States. April to July is considered the produce season. April is when produce starts coming out in the United States, and it really ramps up at the end of spring and early summer. August to October is considered peak season. This is when everyone is getting ready for those holidays, and also produce is still being harvested. The market starts winding down again in November and December, but there's still quite a bit to be shipped for the holiday season and end-of-year orders. The next cycle to understand is annual procurement. In the contract market, shippers will work directly with carriers to agree on fixed rates and dedicated lanes. We covered the contract versus spot market in a previous video about how to get loads for new trucking authorities, so definitely go check that out. Contract rates are heavily influenced by the recent market conditions. So if spot market rates have been down lately, then contract rates are likely to follow. And if spot market rates go up, then contract rates will also follow and go up. The rates agreed on in this process are called paper rates. That means that a carrier can choose to reject the rate if they find something better on a load board or don't have enough capacity to fill it. When a load is rejected, that load appears on the load boards. This is called a tender rejection. And this is why tender rejections are used as an important indicator to understand where the trucking market is at any given point. When tender rejections, or the tender rejection rate, or index as it's also referred to, is really high, then we know that carriers are rejecting a lot of that contracted freight. That means that they're finding things on the load boards that are better. When tender rejections are low, that means that carriers are rejecting less of their contracted freight, and that means spot markets are likely lower. The last cycle to understand is market capacity, and this brings it back full circle to the law of supply and demand. An inflationary market is when there's not enough trucks on the road to move all the freight that needs to be moved. That means that there's more demand than there is supply. And if you were paying attention at the beginning of this video, you'll know that that means that rates are going to go up. A deflationary market is when there are more trucks on the road than shipments that need to be moved. Higher supply, lower demand, that means rates are going down. Although we may wish that it would, the trucking market rarely meets an equilibrium where there's a perfect number of trucks on the road and a perfect number of shipments to haul. This is because when rates do go up, people enter the trucking market. They buy more trucks, they start more businesses, and that then increases the supply and lowers those rates back down. When rates decrease, then trucking companies take trucks off the road, or some go out of business entirely, and that decreases the supply. When demand goes back up again, those rates come back up, and so on and so on and so on. So what can we watch out for to see if the demand for trucks is going to go up or down? So here are some general economic indicators that can help you understand when supply and demand are going to shift in trucking. Consumer spending. The more people buy, the more loads there are to haul. Construction. Materials for buildings have to make it to the construction site, right? If new construction is on the rise, there will be more demand for trucks. Inventory to sales ratio. This is a measure of how many months of merchandise stores have on their shelves. High inventory means that they're having a hard time selling products and thus lower demand for getting new products. The Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, this is a measurement of manufacturing activity with more than 50% indicating growth and less than 10% indicating a contraction of the industry. When more items are being manufactured, there are generally more loads to haul. Truck orders. Keeping an eye on the number of trucks being purchased can give you an idea of how much supply is being added to the market in the near future. And here are some of the best places to get information about indicators for the trucking market: DAT, Coyote Curve, FreightWave Sonar, National Truckload Index, earnings reports for large carriers, news from shippers like Uber Freight and Amazon. There are also some great content creators here on YouTube and on other channels that are regularly putting out content about the trucking market. My personal favorite is Trucking Made Successful. Regardless of whether or not rates are low or high, if you have a trucking business, you need to get paid fast for your loads to keep up with all of your expenses. Most factoring companies will lock you into at least a year-long contract that often auto-renews and is ridden with hidden fees, but not with Bobtail. When you factor with Bobtail, you'll sign a simple 30-day agreement only, and you'll only ever have to pay the factoring rate, not any of those additional fees. You'll also get a dedicated support team and access to a super easy to use desktop app and mobile app for keeping track of all of your invoices. Click the link below to learn more about our factoring service and see just how transparent and easy factoring can be. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and comment with any questions that you have about the trucking industry. And I'll see you in the next video.